It's pretty intense. I mean, the sheep are going to go along with. Everyone says there's hope. I don't know if there's hope because all the people I talk to get that glazed look in their eye. I mentioned 9/11 Truth on the 4th of July at our friend's barbecue, and someone wanted to fight me over it. They wanted to fist fight me. So, you know, the sheep are so brainwashed. I don't know what to do next. You know, I try and talk to people about this stuff, but it seems like there's going to be some kind of a massive attack. And then they're going to go ahead and implement more control. I don't know. I also wanted to ask if you could just blurt out how I can go about, and if it's a good idea, the militia, like local militia. You know, we need to get together when it happens, when it goes down, which I believe it's gonna, because I don't think there's going to be some type of a mass awakening where everybody gets up, holds hands, and walks, and it's like, oh, you know, peace. And they're going to give up. They're going to give up their power. I don't think they're going to be so happy to give up their power. It's going to take bloodshed. It's going to take, you know, tyranny isn't going to end without, you know, the blood of patriots. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, that's what Thomas Jefferson said, but he's listed as a terrorist by the federal government. Now, who do you think the bad guys are? Thomas Jefferson or the globalists saying the founders were bad, which they do. I have it on video in my film Road to Tyranny with FEMA teaching police, firemen, and sheriff's deputies that in Kansas City. Thanks for the call. I get calls every day on and off air, emails, people ask me on the street, Alex, do we join a militia? If so, what do we join? And the answer to that is you are in the militia. Under the U.S. Code, what is it, 18 to 44, 18 to 45? Some state codes say 18 to 49. How do you think sheriffs would call out the posse? They'd come knock on doors and say, you, and you, come with me. That's the power of the county, of the state, enshrined in the office of the governor or the sheriff or the president during time of declared war or natural disaster. We've got the river about to flood, about to break the dam, kill everybody in the town. You, and you, all of you, come with me. Grab sandbags. Grab shovels. We got to dig and cut a fire break. The fire is coming. It's 10 miles away at Eagle Pass. At this rate, it'll be here in 2 hours. Come on, let's go. Let's save our houses. That's what it's all about. So the globalists are master tacticians thinking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 moves ahead. And so they knew there'd be a movement by the states, by the counties, by the cities with the militias. And they saw states in 92, 93, 94, 95 passing laws against federalization and internationalization, saying from Colorado to California to Oklahoma, we're not going to have UN troops here. We're not going to have gun bans here. We're not going to have socialized health care here. The federal government's outside its purview. It's too big. Join a militia at your own risk, I'll tell you that. And I'm for the militia. It's constitutional. 18 to 45. I think it's wonderful. It's civil defense. It's the posse. How would a sheriff in a county call out the men? Because it was the posse. And they don't want the citizens involved in government. That's why the federal report put out, the DHS report said, watch people that want to work with law enforcement, watch people that want to work with community groups, and say they want to support police but are anti-Federal Reserve. See, they don't want us to be friends. They don't want us as good Americans to work together and stop this offshore takeover. Any militia is good that isn't running around secretively telling you look out and telling you hide this pipe bomb. It's a Fed, guaranteed. You go to a militia meeting and the leader or one of the other leaders says, let's build pipe bombs, don't tell anybody, let's be secretive. They're Feds. It's a setup. And so the Feds went in and created all over the nation their own militias. They would have an FBI agent or FBI informant or BATF or ADL or Southern Poverty Law on record. They would advertise and set up a militia. And they would go to biker clubs, the bad ones. And they would find meth dealers, gun runners, because that's who they wanted to make their militias up out of. So that when they busted them, they could connect it to drugs and guns. This is on record with the Viper Militia and countless others. With the Ku Klux Klan group, they set up as a militia in the late 90s in Dallas, Fort Worth. That was Bumsteer Award and Texas Monthly. Many examples. And so if you're involved, say, in fighting for land rights or borders or Second Amendment or against federal takeovers or NAFTA superhighways, and you go to a city council, there'll be a guy there in khakis or in camo, and he'll say, hey, man, come on, let's go get dinner. And you'll go, and there'll be a couple other guys, and all 5 guys at the table will be cops. And they'll say, you ever get mad? You ever think about just bombing some cops? You ever think about going after the governor? You ever think about going after the president? And you're like, no, I want to be peaceful. You know, we're just involved in our First Amendment. And they'll hang out with you for months. They'll even try to get you out and get you drinking. And they'll catch you in the morning while you're brewing coffee and walk up and say, don't you ever just get mad and want to do something violent? And you'll be like, yeah, I do sometimes. Folks, they're going to arrest you. They're going to put pipe bombs on you. You're going to the federal pen. Your life's over. And those guys love it. They're just bagging a slave. They're hardcore criminals. Most of them deal drugs on the side. They just want to become a supervisor. They just want to move up. Most of them had 2 or 3 divorces. They got 2 or 3 sets of kids to pay for. That's why they get into drug dealing and other things. And they're crooks. They're mafia. And they hate this country with a passion. I've seen them. I've met them. They're really scary people. Most of them have committed murders. They are not to be messed with. A lot of them are people they use to grease cops that don't play ball. The feds actually headhunt out of departments, the specialists they got in departments for killing cops. They get off on it. They like to torture people. So, you get in with a group. I mean, if you and your cousins and your neighbors want to go shooting and get better at shooting and learn defensive tactics for your home and even offensive long-range shooting, that's great. That's part of your heritage. And there are a lot of groups, you know, the real militias call themselves military history clubs. It's all guys that know each other, and you're not going to be invited to join if they don't know you. That's the kind of group you need to form. You need to form it. You've got to go out and find the people you're going to work with. You don't take who comes to you. That's a good recruitment system. And so you have a hunger. I mean, if it's just a power trip to dress up in camo and get all freaked out and drive around in cars at night and bury guns and, you know, play Rambo, you should be doing 90% of your militia operations should be at city councils and state houses and handing out DVDs and learning to command, learning to speak, learning to convince, learning to get up and to have leadership skills. 10% should be quietly preparing to defend yourself and your family. And defensively to get out of the cities and to mutually protect each other. Your number one job should not be having to mow down a bunch of cops at a checkpoint. That should be the last thing you want to be forced to do. But they're trying to load you in the flatbacks to take you to FEMA camps for God knows what. Rock and roll! Your job is to reach out to those cops and to those National Guard and regular Army Brigade people from Homeland Security before you have to face them at that checkpoint, before they take your kids away from you, and before you go, all right, this is it. I did everything I could, and then it's on. Then there's no turning back. I did everything I could, just like when some bully walks up and you say, look, mister, I don't want to fight with you. And they take that as fear, and they go ahead and knock you upside the head, and then everything changes. And you just go, that's it, I'm opening up a can of whoop ass. I'm going to beat the living snot out of you. Get ready for me to knock you down and stomp your guts out, punk. And it's that same attitude. Once you open it up, there ain't no turning back. You know, I see myself as a political person, as someone speaking out, as someone that, you know, that's my job. And I'm committed to do this peacefully. I'm not sitting there oiling and petting my guns. I'm defending the right for everybody to keep and bear and own them, that inalienable, innate right. Be prepared. Think about different scenarios, but I see these guys who run around in camo, in green camouflage. I'm wearing camouflage right now. I'm wearing a black T-shirt and blue jeans and a pair of tennis shoes. That's urban warfare camo. That's guerrilla camo. You want camouflage? Try wearing a suit and tie. Oh, that's camouflage. And police have got to be told, there are a lot of people aren't going to let you at checkpoints take them to jail or take their kids like you've been training to do. And let me just tell you something. The first year of operations where they try to tell police and military to set up checkpoints aren't going to be pretty. I will assure you that's why they've caught the National Guard and Homeland Security doing drills of militias attacking Homeland Security checkpoints, because it's going to happen. And you're going to die, a lot of you. And I'm not thrilled about that. There's no macho level of me wants to see a bunch of dead people and pools of blood laying all over the road while the New World Order smiles from ear to ear, knowing they've set it off. So all the torture and killing and crap can begin, and helicopters nerve gassing people, and all the surveillance and all the foreign mercs and the rest of it, and the torture teams and all the stuff they've done in Iraq going on here. They want to gut this country once and for all because they can't get their socialized health care and their gun control and their open borders through without tearing everything up. So I'm going to tell the military and police and everybody and militias and everybody else something. You better do everything you can for peace. And you better hope it doesn't go to physical war. We better all realize we're all in the same boat together. They plan on having us kill each other. And that's the last thing we want to do.